Okay, so welcome to episode 5 of my second Sunday skateboard sessions, the 10-part series where I'm running through Braille Skateboarding's Skateboarding Made Simple Volume 1 tricks to try and learn those tricks and just to track my improvement over 10 episodes or 10 fortnights. As I said, this is episode 5, which is the halfway point. Hopefully by this point I'm showing some improvement. I think I am, but we'll see how I go once I get through today's session. If this is your first time here, I'm just running through the 7 basic tricks of Skateboarding Made Simple, which is the ollie, frontside 180 ollie, the backside 180 ollie, pop shove it, frontside pop shove it, heel flip and kick flip. And I'm just recording my best few attempts at each trick. I'm not doing a persistence or sort of trying to keep going until I actually land something. So I'm going to leave it at that and we'll just get on with doing the tricks. Alright, so let's just get started and do some ollies. I will say, a couple of days after my last session, I was practicing in the driveway and I had a fairly major fall just doing an ollie. I actually did an ollie over one of these cracks in the driveway, which I've done thousands of times in the past, and I happened to land right in the crack. It stopped me dead and threw me forward and sort of smashed up my knee nicely, so that sort of put a limit on my practicing through the week after that. But I did get right back up and started doing ollies and stuff again. It was just really weird to have a massive stack just doing an ollie. But it was my own fault. I was trying to do this ollie where you push back as you ollie, and I didn't make the distance over the crack. So, and also I've noticed my front foot is getting very lazy. Instead of doing that, I'm just going like that, which is not really good. So, trying to focus more on getting this front foot dragging like it's supposed to. There we go. Anyway, you don't want to watch ollies, so we'll move on to frontside 180 ollie. I think I'm going to take that and move on to backside 180 ollies. So with my backside 180s, I've just been trying to focus on keeping the board under my feet and doing the backside 90-degree ollie and trying to get that more and more turns. So you can see there, I'm sort of just trying to get as far around as I can and hopefully pivot maybe on the rest of it or something. So I'm going to take those ones. Let's move on to pop shove-its. Start with doing some standing still ones just to get the motion, and then we'll try some moving ones. I think you'll agree this is a marked improvement even from last week. I'm actually even landing first time on the concrete instead of on the grass. So let's try some moving ones, although they're not going to be very fast moving. I think I'm going to take those two that I did moving. I don't know how much I popped on them, but just doing a move and shove it is a real progression for me anyway. So, and definitely a progression from my very first video in this series. So now I'm going to move on to frontside pop shove it. And with this one, I've just been really focusing on trying to keep the board underneath me, and I'm almost there. It's just trying to get that back foot on that's proving to be a problem at the moment. I'll start with some stationary ones and then try some moving ones. Oh. That's about the closest I've been yet, where I didn't have any of my back foot on the ground. This is pretty typical of how I've been landing them, like this. I've been finding if I really try to kick it so I get the full 180 spin, I lose control of the board, so that's why it's not spinning all the way around, but I think we're getting used to it. Well, that was toe drag, but that was pretty good. Try a few moving, and then we'll move along. Alright, I'm going to leave that there. It's still some improvement, even since last week. I actually got one where a standing still one there with both feet back on the board, so not too bad. And we'll move on now to heel flips. So I've not really done a lot to practice heel flips or kick flips in the last fortnight. What's messed me up is we switched over from daylight saving so that it basically gets darker earlier now, and my normal skate time, the daylight's pretty much almost gone, so that's kind of thrown my work schedule out a bit, so I've missed a few sessions just for that reason alone, but I'm still going to try and sort of adjust and get back into it, and we'll just see how I go here with my heel flips and kick flips. Alright, so got to remember, listen for the pop before kicking. There we go, finally. Good one. I think I'm actually deliberately stepping forward with my front foot so as not to land on it, because a couple of those I could have landed. Try and get one more of these to flip all the way around, and then I'm going to move on. What is that even? There we go. Try a few moving, although I don't anticipate landing any, but just to give it a try. There we go. Alright, we'll leave that there. We'll finish up with kick flips. Not bad effort for the first one of the day. There we go. Committed to it. And that one doesn't count because I landed like that. Wow. There we go. Primo really sort of jammed my shoulder that time, but it's alright. It's just probably be feeling it a bit later. Alright. Jesus. Really primoed it again. That's like overflip. Alright, I'm deliberately taking my back foot off on these ones. That was a flip and a half. That was a flip and a half too. Alright, I'm going to do some slow moving ones and call it a day. I don't feel like killing myself. Good thing I decided to wear the wrist guards today because this one really took a bit of the weight on that fall. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. There you go, that was episode 5 of my second Sunday skateboard session series. I feel I've shown some improvement since episode 1. Certainly with my first 4 tricks. Yeah, ollie, 180, ollies, backside 180, top shove it, and frontside shove it. So let's say top 4 if we exclude the ollie, which is a pretty basic trick that you should be able to do anyway. Definitely improvement over those 4. I think heel flips are getting better, but not too great this particular session, probably due to not being able to practice those and kickflip much over the last couple of weeks. But as you saw there, I think on a kickflip, I'm still fairly committed to that and had a nice primo stack for you to see as well. I think the arm's pretty good on that. I just sort of landed pretty hard on the wrist there, but it's just like feels fine now, so it should be alright. Just glad I put the wrist guards on so I didn't get any cuts on the hand, and I'm still rocking the elbow problems. This is just on there just to reduce any strain from my elbow moving around. It is actually getting better, but it's a just in case policy more than something that I need. So that's it for this week, halfway point. Hopefully over the next 5 episodes I can maybe improve those first 4 even more and maybe land at least 1 or 2 heel flips and kick flips by the end. So I'm going to leave that there and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.